Hi, so this is just a quick review of my bandsaw. It's a Burgess Powerline BBS-20 Mark II. Yeah, it's a really good kit actually. And the reason that I ended up getting it was sort of actually just by accident. I went to buy some tools from someone that I'd found on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. And this was in the corner of a very nice lady's garage in the corner, covered in dust and sort of amongst clutter. And I spotted it and said, "Oh, what's that over there?" The lady said, "Oh, it's just a very old bandsaw." And I said, "Well, would you be interested in selling that to me as well?" And she said, "Well, I'd be interested in giving it to you because you've bought all these tools off me." So I said, "Yeah, brilliant, okay." And I took it home, and then after a week, I got it up and running, and I couldn't believe how effective it was. It was a great piece of kit. I'm not the most experienced woodworker, been doing this for about a year and a half now, a lot more experience now, but I'd never used a bandsaw, so I don't have any frame of reference using something like this against like a proper commercial piece of kit. But all I can say is that it's amazing what I've been able to do with this, or what this tool has been able to cut, basically. Really quite impressed with it. So much so that I've integrated it into my bench just this weekend, actually. So as you can see, I've now put it in my bench, which it has been so useful because now I don't have to hold longer pieces of wood with one hand and then only have another hand to sort of guide it through. Now I can use both hands to guide it through and get a really nice straight line. And these are the sorts of things that I've been using my bandsaw for. So we've got, this is ash, cherry wood, and the circular shape of that has been done on the bandsaw. Oak. This one is oak as well, about 2.5 inches thick. Beech, again about 2.5 inches thick. Beech burger boards, handles, all the shaping has been done with the bandsaw, and lots of oak chopping boards. So it's done all of that, and they're really dense, high quality timbers that it's been cutting, no problem at all. Obviously, the thicker it gets, the longer it takes. But I like the sort of slow, methodical accuracy of it, rather than just running it through a circular saw, and you kind of only get one opportunity to get that right. Circular saws kind of scare me a bit anyway. But the main convenience for me is that my workshop is in my back garden, and I don't want to upset my neighbours by running really loud power tools all the time. And I've checked with my neighbours, and they can't hear me using this at all. They don't know I'm even in my workshop. So I use it at like 6 a.m, 9 p.m. regularly. I'll use it all sorts of times, which just means that I'm so much more flexible in when I can work, which is great. If anything goes wrong with it, the parts are pretty cheap to replace and incredibly easy to replace as well. The bandsaw blades are about 11-12 pounds, something like that. It's gone through plenty of blades, maybe 3 or 4 in about a year, which isn't actually that much considering what it's been cutting, because it really has had a ragging, this thing. It's been used and abused. I have maintained it, but I can't believe it's still running, really. Not to mention all the raised beds that it's been used to cut as well, to trim, which are all made out of decking. So it has cut through just so much decking to make about 25 8 by 4 foot raised beds. So credit where it's due. I mean, it may be described as a sort of a very basic hobbyist piece of kit, but I can't believe it's still going. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I'd liken it in the car world maybe to something like a Fiat Panda. It's not the most exciting, and it's not going to give you lots of thrills or accelerate quickly, underpowered. But if anything goes wrong on it, you could probably fix it yourself, and you'll probably be able to see where the components are, and maybe you should be able to work out what's wrong with it rather than having to either ditch it or take it in somewhere and get charged a lot for someone else to fix it. And ultimately, if it does conk out, they're about £30 or £40 to replace. They're not fetching much. I really can't fault it. I think it's a great piece of kit. So that's my review. Just be realistic with your expectations of what you're using it for. It's not an industrial piece of kit. But if you're doing the sorts of things that I'm doing that are a bit more delicate and don't require as much speed, it's just a lovely, lovely tool to use. So there you go. BBS-20 Mark II. It is a mouthful. Gets a tick from me.